Hello students, how are you all? I, Rajeshwari Shirkanhalli, welcome you at Nagesh Karasgi Orchid School. In the last class, we have completed with chapter 3, that is synthetic fibers and plastics. Now, today we are going to begin with chapter number 5. The name of the chapter is Coal and Petroleum. So, all of you open your textbooks, keep a rough notebook with you, a highlighter and a pencil to note down important points. So, here we begin. In this chapter, we are going to discuss the important concepts. So, important sections of the chapter are, first of all, we are going to see what are natural resources and why are they called as inexhaustible and exhaustible natural resources. What is the difference between them exactly? Then we are going to discuss about coal and its story, means how coal is formed. Then the different products of the coal, that is coke, coal tar and coal gas. Then the next concept is petroleum. Then let us see how the refining of petroleum is done, then natural gas, and at last we are going to discuss why some natural resources are limited. So, we will begin with natural and man-made resources. So, let us see what are natural and man-made resources. We use different materials for our basic needs. So, we use different materials. Some of them are found in nature and some have been made by human efforts. So, whatever things we use, we get them from nature and some are made by man. So, they are man-made. So, the various resources which are obtained from nature are known as natural resources. So, what are natural resources? These are the resources which are obtained from nature, and whereas the second type of resources are called as man-made resources or man-made materials. So, these are the materials which are made by man and they are called as man-made materials or man-made resources. So, let us discuss an activity. What are you going to do is make a list of various materials used by us in daily life and classify them as natural and man-made. So, today what are you going to do? You are going to list out the different things which you use in your daily life and classify them whether they are natural resources or man-made. So, these are some examples of natural resources and man-made resources. In natural resources, we can include air, water, soil and minerals. So, these are obtained in nature. We have not prepared them. So, they are natural resources. Whereas, paints, synthetic fibers, plastics and explosives, these we do not get from nature. These are made by human efforts. So, these are called as man-made resources or man-made materials. So, you are going to add many more items to this list. Now, let us see the types of natural resources. What are natural resources? The resources which we obtain from nature. They are called as natural resources. Now, these natural resources are of two types. First, inexhaustible natural resources, and second one is exhaustible natural resources. So, let us see what is meant by inexhaustible and exhaustible. First, we will discuss about inexhaustible natural resources. The resources which are present in unlimited quantity in nature and are not likely to be exhausted by human activities are known as inexhaustible natural resources. So what are these resources? These are the resources which we get from nature, but they are present in unlimited quantities. And even during our different activities, even if we use them, then also they are not likely to be exhausted. So they are called as inexhaustible natural resources. For example, sunlight, air, etc. So these are never ending sources of energy. You keep on using sunlight and air, they never come to an end. That's why they are called as inexhaustible natural resources. Have you understood? Inexhaustible means even if we keep on using them again and again, they never get over. They are unlimited in nature. The second type of natural resources is exhaustible. Exhaustible natural resources. The natural resources which are present in a limited quantity in nature. So, exhaustible natural resources means these are also natural resources, but they are present in a limited quantity in nature and can be exhausted, means used up by human activities, are called exhaustible natural resources. So, if we use them carelessly, then they get over. So, they get exhausted. That is why they are called as exhaustible natural resources. Examples: coal, petroleum, minerals, etc. These are natural resources, but they come to an end if used carelessly. So, these are the two types of natural resources. Inexhaustible means which are in unlimited quantity in nature, and exhaustible means which are in a limited quantity in nature. Now, let us see one of the natural resource, that is coal. So, what is a coal? It is an exhaustible natural resource. So, you all must have seen coal. You must be familiar with the coal. So, let us see what are the properties of coal. First of all, it is as hard as stone and it is black in color. You can see in these pictures, you can see the coal is looking like stones. So, it is as hard as stone and the color is black. Coal is one of the fuel used to cook food. So, for cooking food, we can use coal as fuel. Earlier, it was used in the railway engines to produce steam to run the engine. So, in the olden days, how the railway engines were working, they were running on steam. The engines were running on steam and the steam was produced by heating the coal. So, these are the properties of coal. First of all, it is hard as stone and black in color. It is one of the fuel used for cooking food, and previously, that is in the olden days, the railway engines produced steam to run the engine by using coal. Similarly, coal is also used in thermal power plants to produce electricity. So, NTPC, that is National Thermal Power Corporation, it is there in our city also. So, what is the main work of the NTPC? They use coal and they use that coal for heating water. Water gets heated, steam is produced, and that steam is used to rotate the turbines, which in turn produce electricity. So, coal is used in thermal power plants to produce electricity. Here in this picture you can see a thermal power plant. Similarly, coal is also used as a fuel in various industries. Now, after seeing the properties and uses of coal, let us see what is the story of coal exactly. So, for the formation of coal, a very long period of time is required. About 300 million years ago, the earth had dense forests in low-lying wetland areas. So, near about 300 million years ago, earth was having very thick forest areas. You can see in this picture a dense forest is shown. So, due to natural processes like flooding, these forests got buried under the soil. So, when flood came, all the forest areas, they got buried under the soil. Then more and more soil got deposited over them. So, as more soil got deposited over them, they were compressed. So, what happened? Because of deposition of soil, the forest areas which got buried under the soil got compressed. The temperature also rose as they sank deeper and deeper. So, forest areas got buried, over them the layers of soil got deposited, and what happened? The temperature also rose as they sank deeper and deeper. Now, under high pressure and high temperature, dead plants got slowly converted to coal. So, how coal is formed? It is formed from dead plants. So, as forest areas got buried in the soil, then soil got deposited over that. Due to this activity, what happened? The temperature as well as pressure got increased. So, under high pressure and high temperature, dead plants got slowly converted to coal. So, that is how the coal is formed. Now, what is this process of formation of coal is called? So, let us discuss about that. Carbonization. As coal contains mainly carbon, so coal is actually nothing but a form of carbon. So, as it contains mainly carbon, the slow process of conversion of dead vegetation into the coal is called carbonization. So, what is carbonization? The slow process of conversion of dead vegetation into coal is called as carbonization. Since it was formed from the remains of vegetation, coal is also called as a fossil fuel. Okay, so why coal is called as a fossil fuel? Because it is formed by the remains of the vegetation. Now, what happens when coal is burnt in air? As I have told, coal is a form of carbon. So, when we burn coal in the air, that coal reacts with oxygen present in the atmosphere. So, whatever oxygen is present in the air get reacted to carbon which is there in the coal, and it produces carbon dioxide gas, CO2. Carbon dioxide gas is formed when coal is treated in air. Why? Because coal burns and produces mainly carbon dioxide gas. Now, coal is processed in industry to get some useful products. So, when coal is processed in industry, it gives some of the important products which are coke, coal tar and coal gas. So, let us discuss about these products one by one. First one is coke. So, it is the product of coal. So, when coal is processed, coke is formed. So, let us see exactly what is coke and how it is formed, what are its properties and uses. So, coke is a tough, porous and black substance. So, how is the nature of coke? It is tough. It is porous. Porous means it has tiny pores, small holes are there on its surface, and the color of the coke is black. It is an almost pure form of carbon. The second property of coke is it is an almost pure form of carbon. Now, where it is used? It is used in the manufacture of steel and in the extraction of many metals. So, steel gets manufactured by using coke. Similarly, different metals get extracted from their ores using coke. So, coke is very useful for manufacturing of steel and for extraction of many metals. The second important product of the coal is coal tar. So, let us discuss what is coal tar. Coal tar is a black, thick liquid with an unpleasant smell. So, just now we have discussed about coke. We have seen that coke is in solid state, it is very tough, porous and black in color, and whereas coal tar is also black in color, but it is in the liquid state and it has very unpleasant smell. It is actually a mixture of about 200 substances. So, coal tar is not a single substance, it is a mixture. It is a mixture of about 200 substances. So, this is about the coal tar. Now, let us see the uses of coal tar, where coal tar is used. Products obtained from coal tar are used as starting materials for the manufacture of various substances used in everyday life and in industry. So, the products obtained from coal tar, as I have just told that coal tar is actually a mixture of about 200 substances. So, different products are obtained from this coal tar and they are used as starting materials for the manufacture of various substances used in everyday life and in industry like synthetic dyes. So, they are used as synthetic dyes. What is a dye? It is a permanent color. Then it is used as a raw material in the manufacture of drugs. Then in the formation of explosives, perfumes, plastics, paints, photographic materials. Then these are also used as roofing materials, means while making the roof of the rooms. Then naphthalene balls are also made of using coal tar. All of you are familiar with naphthalene balls. We use them for repelling moths. So, these are some of the uses of coal tar. So, coal tar is used in different industries, that is for making synthetic dyes, for making drugs, explosives, perfumes, plastics, paints, photographic materials, roofing materials and naphthalene balls for repelling moths. Now, bitumen is also a product of coal tar. So, what is bitumen? It is a petroleum product which is used in the place of coal tar for metalling the roads. So, nowadays instead of using coal tar, bitumen is used for metalling roads. So, this is also a petroleum product. Now, the third product of coal is coal gas. Till now we have discussed about coke and coal tar. Now, the third one is coal gas. So, let us see what is coal gas. Coal gas is obtained during the processing of coal to get coke. So, we have discussed that coke is obtained from coal. So, when coke is obtained from coal, during that process a gas gets released which is known as coal gas. It is used in many industries situated near the coal processing plants. So, near the coal processing plants there is more scope of release of this coal gas. So, it is used in many industries which are situated near the coal processing plants. Okay, do you know coal gas was used for street lighting for the first time in London in the year 1810 and in New York around 1820. So, coal gas was used for street lighting. Where it was used? In London in the year 1810 and in New York around 1820. But nowadays we don't use coal gas as a source of light. For what we use? We use as a source of heat rather than light. So, after discussing about coal and its products, let us move to the new concept, that is petroleum. So, what is petroleum? The word petroleum is derived from two words, which are those? Petra. The meaning of Petra means rock, and oleum. The meaning of oleum means oil. So, it is derived from the mixture of Petra and oleum, as it is mined from between the rocks under the earth. Now, common examples of petroleum are petrol, diesel, etc. So, you all are familiar with these products. So, let us discuss more about petroleum and different petroleum products. So, first let us see how petroleum got formed. Formation of petroleum. Petroleum was formed by the organisms living in the sea. So, as these organisms died, their bodies settled at the bottom of the sea and got covered with layers of sand and clay. So, how petroleum is formed? It is formed by dead organisms. The dead organisms of the sea, after their death, their bodies got settled at the bottom of the sea, and on their dead bodies the layers of sand and clay got deposited. Now, over of millions of years, absence of air, high temperature and high pressure transformed the dead organisms into petroleum and natural gas. So, as these dead bodies got deposited at the bottom of the sea, and over that many layers of the sand and clay got deposited. Then it took millions of years. There was an absence of air, temperature and pressure rose. So, due to these things, the dead organisms got transformed into petroleum and natural gas. So, deposits of petroleum and natural gas form layers above that of water, as oil and gas are lighter than water and do not mix with water. So, here you can see the deposition are shown. In this you can find that petroleum and natural gas, they formed layers above that of water. As you know that petroleum is insoluble in water, it is immiscible with water. So, they form different layers. Why? Because they are immiscible. And why petroleum and natural gas form layers above that of water? Because oil and gas are lighter than water. So, their densities are less than the density of water and they do not mix with water. Okay. Do you know the world's first oil well was drilled in Pennsylvania in USA in the year 1859. After this, about 8 years later, in the year 1867, oil was struck at Makkum, Assam. So, in our country, in Assam, oil was struck in the year 1867. Now, we find there are different oil reservoirs are there. Where do we find? In India, oil is found in Assam. then Gujarat, Mumbai High, and in the river basins of Godavari and Krishna. So find about this, more information about this from the internet. Now let us see how this petroleum get refined. Whatever petroleum we get, do we use them as it is or it undergoes some refining process? So let us discuss about that. Refining of petroleum. Petroleum is a dark oily liquid. It has an unpleasant odor. So what is petroleum? It is a dark oily liquid and its smell is very unpleasant. It has an unpleasant odor. It is a mixture of various constituents such as petroleum gas, petrol, diesel, lubricating oil, paraffin wax, etc. So all these we get from petroleum. Petroleum is a mixture of different constituents like petroleum gas, petrol, diesel, lubricating oil, paraffin wax and so on. So the process of separating various constituents, which are also called as fractions of the petroleum, is called as refining. Means it is the process of getting all these constituents from a single product, that is petroleum. So that is called as refining. It is carried out in a petroleum refinery. So this is again a petroleum refinery in which you can find the fractionating columns, and using these fractionating columns, different constituents of the petroleum are obtained at different fractions. Now let us discuss about these different constituents of petroleum and their uses. So just look at this table. Here in this you will get the different constituents of petroleum and their uses. The first one is petroleum gas in liquid form, that is liquefied petroleum gas. In short we call it as LPG. So where do we use LPG? You all know very well that we use it as a fuel at home, at domestic level, similarly in industry. The second constituent is petrol. So petrol is used as a motor fuel, means it is used in different motor vehicles, in different automobiles. Similarly it is used as aviation fuel and it is also used as a solvent for dry cleaning of clothes. The third constituent is kerosene. So it is also a very familiar constituent. It is very familiar to you all. So where do we use kerosene? It is used as a fuel for stoves, lamps and jet aircraft. Fourth one is diesel. Fuels for heavy motor vehicles like trucks, lorries, they use diesel as a fuel. Similarly, diesel is used for electric generators. The fifth constituent is lubricating oil, which is used for lubrication. Next is paraffin wax. Paraffin wax is used in ointments, then in vaselines and in candles. And the last product of petroleum is bitumen. Bitumen is used in the paints as well as for surfacing of roads. So these are some of the petroleum constituents and their uses. So what are you going to do is, you are going to write down all these constituents of petroleum and their uses and try to find more information about these constituents of petroleum from internet. Okay. So go through all the concepts, read once, twice, thrice and complete this given homework and do the activities suggested. Thank you.